Hello, class. Paul Watlington here. 46 years old. I had to think about that for a second. Um, so I currently serve as the assistant fire chief for the city of Burlington Fire Department in North Carolina. And I do apologize because I'm at work. If you hear the tones going off in the background, it's because we have a call. So we apologize up front for any distractions. But anyway, so I've been a firefighter for 26 years now total. Started volunteer firefighter, but I've been a career firefighter for the last 23 years. And again, I'm assistant fire chief over a specific division, and that is support services. So my oversight is in safety, training, and logistics. So part of being an assistant fire chief is we're required to have a 4-year degree. So if I'm thought maybe if I'm going back to school, I might as well do something that I enjoy. So I enrolled in actually a different university to start with. I enrolled at Fayetteville State University. I found that started hearing a lot of good positive comments from some of my fellow coworkers from Western Carolina. So I made a decision to transfer everything to Western Carolina, and it has been an absolute wonderful experience being enrolled at Western Carolina. So great decision on my part. Really appreciate that feedback that I was getting from those other folks. So I'm in the emergency and disaster management undergraduate program. So I'm kind of like an accidental firefighter. Um, I went to college initially, right out of high school, to get a degree in electronics, Old Dominion University in Virginia. And by the way, I live 35 miles north of the city of Burlington. So when I explain to everybody where I live, I say right in the middle of the state, 10 minutes south of Virginia. So 10 minutes south of Danville, Virginia. And then, of course, I commute to work every day, Monday through Friday. But yeah, I was kind of an accidental firefighter. I went to college for electronics, and it just wasn't for me. I'm more of a hands-on, practical, psychomotor skills kind of person. So I was a volunteer firefighter. My brother was a volunteer firefighter, and I started going to school at night to maybe figure out a way to become even a better firefighter. So there were some certification classes offered at night at some volunteer fire departments. So I started taking those, and some of my instructors were actually career firefighters for a local municipality, and they taught me into applying, and took a substantial pay cut to do so. And unfortunately, a year or so later, I was laid off in a budget cut. So I came to Burlington after that, and I've been here for 22 of those 23 years as a paid firefighter. It's been the absolute best job in the world, and I really enjoy going to work every day. And I find that you can't put that much enjoyment or reward or pay in a paycheck. And but anyway, here I am. I'm married, been married for 25 years this September. And I have two wonderful kids. One is 22, one is 20. My daughter is actually enrolling at UNC Greensboro for a master's degree in sports medicine, physical training, excuse me. And my son works for an energy company. So they are thriving, doing well. And my wife works for Piedmont Community College in Caswell County in North Carolina. And so, yeah, that's me. I live on a family farm, um, which was used to be tobacco, and now it's basically whatever we decide to do with it. I'm basically maintaining the farm, and again in Caswell County, very rural area. Um, Believe it or not, living in North Carolina, and if you haven't picked up on it yet, I have a Southern accent, but I'm a diehard Minnesota Vikings football fan and New York Yankees baseball fan. So we actually go up to Minnesota and New York to see those teams play every so often. So big sports fan. My daughter's a big sports fan. My son, my wife watches it because we all three watch it. So she's kind of grandfathered into the sports in our family. Um, One thing that I really enjoy about Western Carolina is the my fellow students. I'm a fire instructor, but what I have found out through my teachings is that there's a lot that I actually learned from those that I talk to. And I think this class ties right into that because of the way we communicate. I'm excited about that. I'm excited about picking up on even more opportunity, on even more tips and ideas and constructive ways to improve my own communication. But I've had the opportunity to speak on a national level. Uh, so I travel to Indianapolis, Indiana every April to speak at what is considered the largest fire conference in the world. And a lot of people are like, uh, what does that volume of people look like at a fire conference? But if you can imagine downtown Indianapolis with 38,000 firefighters for 1 week. So yes, it's kind of an exciting week, but get the opportunity to speak there, and I've had the opportunity to speak in quite a few other areas as far as fire instruction and public speaking, mentoring, motivational speaking. Um, so it's been an awesome experience for me because I've had a lot of on the job training when it comes to communication and conversation. I'm sure there's plenty of gaps that I need to fill, so I'm excited about this class not only being a requirement for my degree, but I'm actually really excited about what I might be able to get out of it to be able to have those conversations and be able to communicate in a better way. And I also think that this class is going to help with some of the communications that I have internally here in my department. I'm in a position to where sometimes I have a lot of positive conversations with folks, and sometimes I have to have some negative conversations. Well, not necessarily negative, but I guess they can tend to go that way every so often, but that's not the intent going into the conversation. So sometimes there's a difficult conversations. Let me leave it at that. They're difficult conversations, but um, it's one thing about communications and conversation that I always kind of lived by, and my dad taught this to me. What the way you enter a conversation, as far as I guess you could say, your attitude when you enter a conversation, a lot of times dictates the middle and the end of that conversation. And I've seen that, I've lived that, you know, I've tried to approach conversations differently so I could see the outcome of it, sometimes. And hey, again, I'm married, so my wife and I sometimes we don't necessarily agree on certain topics or whatever. So I'm looking forward to even finding, learning even more about how to communicate even in my own home life. So, and I think it's important. So, communication is key, and that's how we get to know each other. That's how we find out commonalities. And to be quite honest, I don't think that we do enough of it. And I think that alone creates divide is the lack of conversation, not necessarily the content in the conversation. There's plenty of people that 10 years ago I may not have ever spoken to, but when I do get a chance to speak to them, sitting beside someone on an airplane, sitting beside someone at a ball game, just speaking to them, hey, how are you here on vacation? Sparking conversation. Next thing you know, you got something in common with them, and you might even be in another state and somebody. Both of you know the same person or something, but just little things like that is what brings people together. And I was watching a video earlier this week about how to have constructive conversation, and one thing that resonated with me, and it was served as a reminder as well, is when we approach conversations with commonalities and look for commonalities rather than approaching it with uh, things that make us or things that separate us, it kind of sets the stage for a better conversation. So, and again, I'm looking forward to working with everybody, and I'm excited about this opportunity to move through the summer. I got a uh, already got a quiet place in mind this summer that I'm looking forward to doing some of my work in this class. And of course, I work 8 to 5 every day, so I'm gonna try to do some work here too. But again, looking forward to working with everyone, and hope this video finds you well. And that's it. And if you got any questions, for me, feel free to reach out to me in the comments, and we'll go from there. Very nice to meet everybody. Looking forward to working with you.